I'm Don Keating. Welcome to Brunswick Cable Access News. On this week's show, I'll tell you about the senior housing complex proposed for the water tower property. Also, a schematic design plans for a new middle school approved, and S&P upgrades the county bond rating. So join us right now here on BCAN, the Brunswick Cable Access News on BAT TV. The city's Planning Commission granted preliminary site plan approval for a new senior living complex proposed for the property located just east of the city's water towers. The plans, which were first presented to the commission in June, call for the construction of a single-story, 24,274 square foot memory care facility with 32 units, as well as a two-story, 68,180 square foot assisted living facility with 80 units. Also planned for the 16.35 acre site is a 36 unit independent living facility with service cottages. Each of the independent living structures would feature 4 units per building with a total of 9 buildings. Representatives for the complex, which will be known as Sanctus, said the residents of the independent living cottages will be participants in the on-site medical care community and will receive transportation, home health assistance, meals, maintenance, and housekeeping and concierge services. According to Joseph Scherla, Planning Commission Chairman, the property was previously proposed for development under the SR Senior Residence District requirements. However, the applicant has since decided to construct the parcel as a special planning district. Currently, Sherilla said, the property consists of 15.86 acres in the city's RL Low Density Residential District and 0.67 acres in the CG General Commercial District. As part of the proposed special planning district, Sherilla said the parcel has been delineated into the west neighborhood, which will house the memory care and assisted living facilities, and the east neighborhood, which will contain the independent living units and service cottages. The complex will be similar to the Brunswick Town Center SPD2 neighborhoods. Developers for the site have already submitted renderings showing the front elevations for the independent living cottages, assisted living structure, and memory care facility, which show earth tone colors and vinyl siding and cultured stone. Additionally, gabled roof lines in varying heights and groups of windows are expected to provide architectural interest and break up the long building expanse, Sherilla said. In order to move the project forward, however, both members of the city's Planning Commission and City Council will be required to grant their approval for the proposed SPD. In order for that to happen, Sherilla said, the developer will be required to prove that the special zoning is necessary due to one of 3 conditions that qualify for an SPD under the city's zoning code. Sherilla said that because the property contains a significant amount of wetlands, the land itself could qualify it for an SPD. But just because it could qualify, that doesn't mean the city is in the business of handing approvals out for SPDs just to make it easier for developers to build on these sites, Sherilla said. We still have to make sure that we aren't putting the buildings on land where they don't belong. Assistant Law Director Santo Encarnavia reminded developers that just because the property qualifies for special planning development, that doesn't mean City Council will approve the project. There have been several requests received by the Planning Commission and City Council in recent years that have been rejected, Encarnavia said. If either of these boards determine that it is not the right zoning for the area, this project will not be approved. Planning Commission members questioned developers as to whether there is enough of a market for this type of facility in light of the fact that several senior housing facilities have opened in the city in recent years. Developers indicated that research indicated that Brunswick remains a prime market as the demand for senior housing is expected to increase significantly as baby boomer generation ages. The Board of Education unanimously approved schematic design plans for the proposed Brunswick Middle School this week. Ed Shearson, project coordinator for Then Design Architecture, told the school board during its work session September 4th the building's design has been modified slightly since the interior plans for the school were first unveiled in June. We've been working hard as a team over the past several weeks to refine the site plans according to the staff's recommendations, Shearson told the board. In addition to modifying the location of the stadium's bleachers, which will be located to the east of the school, Shearson said the architectural firm has also revamped the 6th grade wing of the building to more closely resemble the 7th and 8th grade pods. We've continued to improve the design and the property the district has purchased around the perimeter of the site has allowed us to expand our plans, he said, noting the district intends to use one of the properties to construct a detention basin as part of the site's stormwater management plan, while another lot will serve as the location of the new shot put and discus courts. Superintendent Michael Mayo said the administration is pleased with the preliminary renderings the architectural firm shared with the district and said that the project is progressing on schedule. Everything we originally said would be included in these plans are in there, Mayo said. The only thing that has changed is the square footage. The building ended up being slightly larger than we anticipated. Mayo said preliminary site work is now underway at the Edwards Vicentainer campus, where the new $63 million school will be constructed. He said Hammond Construction, the contractor hired by the district, will spend the next 2 months grading the existing parking lot and leveling land between the existing schools in order to install the new building's pad. Construction of the 240,468 square foot school itself will not get underway until next spring, however, according to Mayo. Crews are also constructing a new temporary parking lot on the northwest corner of the site of Manhattan Avenue. Throughout the duration of the project, all traffic, including construction vehicles, will be directed to Manhattan Avenue, where signage directing motorists to the proper parking lot will be located, Shearson said. Additionally, signs will be posted indicating that there will be no left turns from Manhattan onto Pearl and Center roads throughout construction in order to impede traffic for the residents who live on the street. To keep students, staff, and other guests to the school safe during the construction process, fencing will be installed around the perimeter of the construction site, Shearson said, noting the first phase of construction is expected to wrap up the week of Thanksgiving. As far as the actual construction of the school is concerned, plans containing the specific layout and design of the building are expected to be presented to the Planning Commission early next year for approval. Construction will then get underway in April, Shearson said. Barring any unforeseen circumstances or adverse weather conditions, the school, which will house all of the district's students in 6th through 8th grades, is expected to open at the start of the 2020-2021 school year. The city may already be home to 2 McDonald's restaurants and 2 Burger Kings, but soon it may be home to 2 KFC restaurants as well. Adam McRae, owner of the Pearl Road KFC restaurant, appeared before the city's planning commission this week with plans to open a second franchise on Center Road on the property that is currently owned and operated by Sonic. McRae told the commission that the owners of the Sonic restaurant, which opened its doors in 2010, are looking to sell the property. If plans for the new facility are approved, McRae said he will continue to operate the Pearl Road location in addition to the new Center Road restaurant. To us, this is a much better option than having to try and find a vacant lot, McRae said. As part of the preliminary plans for the site, which were approved by the commission September 6th, McRae said he plans to construct an 823.94 square foot addition onto the existing 1,694 square foot Sonic building for a total of 2,521 square feet. Like the Pearl Road location, the proposed Center Road location will feature in-store seating. The dining room will consist of 42 interior seats and 8 exterior seats that will be located on the building's new patio. The existing canopy covers, car hop, menu board, and speakers will be eliminated, McRae said, and a portion of the existing concrete pavement near the east property line will be removed and planted as green space. Additionally, 2,425 square feet of additional green space will be installed on the site, which also will include 30 parking spaces and an ADA ramp that will connect to the restaurant's outdoor patio area. Before detailed plans for the site can be approved by the Planning Commission, McRae will first have to obtain a variance form from the city's Board of Zoning Appeals in order to approve a new location for the facility's dumpster, said Joseph Cirola, chairman of the Planning Commission. As part of the new plans for the site, the dumpster will be located just over 40 feet from the south property line, and a 50-foot rear yard setback is required according to the city's codes. City Council unanimously passed an emergency resolution this week urging the governor and members of the Ohio General Assembly to invest the state budget surplus into municipalities. Councilwoman Patricia Hannick read the legislation in Council's Committee of the Whole session September 10th and voiced Council's displeasure with Governor John Kasich's proposal to use the state's budget surplus of approximately $147 million at the end of the biennium to fund an additional income tax withholding reduction and bring the state's rainy day funds to its maximum legal limit. The Ohio General Assembly has repeatedly decreased funding and revenue sharing in recent years by way of significantly reducing the local government fund, eliminating the estate tax, and phasing out the tangible personal property tax, Hannick said. According to the Ohio Municipal League, in the 2015 fiscal year alone, local government funding reductions resulted in a loss of $435 million across the state. As far as the city of Brunswick is concerned, Finance Director Todd Fisher said the cuts in the state's local government funds have resulted in the loss of revenues in excess of $600,000 annually. In the year 2001, we received our highest disbursement of $1.1 million, while in 2017, the city of Brunswick received just over $500,000, which is the lowest amount we have received in the past 17 years, Fisher said. At this pace, we are set to lose more than $10 million every 16 years. Fisher said that if the state were to redirect the budget surplus back to municipalities, it would allow those communities to better invest in their infrastructure and services. There is a lot of money that we used to get that we no longer do, Fisher said, noting the lack of revenue from the state has forced the city to scale back on projects it would have otherwise been able to complete. As part of the resolution, the city has requested the governor and the General Assembly use the surplus to assist local government bodies by increasing funding at a level proportionate to what the state provided in the past before the cuts, in order to allow cities to, once again, invest in their services and infrastructure. There's no doubt that Brunswick, like most cities, deserves more than it's getting, said at-large Councilman Joseph Del Santer. The city plans to make several storm water improvements on Kent Drive this year in an effort to improve drainage in the rear yards of residential properties, city officials announced this week. According to consulting city engineer Matt Jones, the proposed project will facilitate the reconfiguration and expansion of an existing detention basin behind the home located at 1339 Kent Drive and the installation of a new storm sewer behind the properties located at 1315 and 1325 Kent Drive. The intent, Jones said, is to greatly reduce instances of flooding in the area. Jones told Council September 10th all necessary easements for the project have already been secured, and Council unanimously approved a contract with Marks Construction Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $71,620. The project, which is being funded with the city's Stormwater Utilities Fund, is expected to begin in October and will take approximately 30 days to complete, weather depending, Jones said. Final restoration of the affected properties, Jones said, is planned for the spring of 2019. Council also granted its approval to purchase a new hot water tank for the Brunswick Community Recreation and Fitness Center September 10th. Parks and Recreation Director John Keating told Council that the rec center has two 205-gallon hot water tanks for the purpose of serving hot water to the members and guests of the recreation center. One of those tanks, he said, was purchased at the end of 2016 and came with a 25-year warranty. The second tank had a 10-year warranty, Keating said, and is now out of service. The second tank needs to be replaced to keep enough warm water available to members and guests and to allow it to be used as a backup if the other unit were to fail. Keating said the city plans to purchase a new tank in an amount not to exceed $43,000 from Air Force One as part of the state procurement program. Dozens of voters turned out for a mock election at the Medina County Board of Elections September 7th to try out a new voting system the Board of Elections is considering. The system is called a digital scanning voting tabulator, but is reminiscent of the days prior to electronic voting in which voters marked a paper ballot but inserted into an optical scanner where it is recorded. Voters and Board of Elections officials agreed the system was convenient and easy for voters to use. Its big advantages are that it has a clear record of votes cast to assuage concerns about fraud and tampering, and it is economical since it requires only one or two optical scanners at a polling place instead of several at the touchscreen voting machines which are now employed. The disadvantage, according to BOE Chairwoman Pam Miller, is the huge volume of paper ballots that must be printed and stored after each election. Tom Zeliff, a representative of the Clear Ballot Company, which manufactures the scanners used in the mock election here, said the system has been used in Wisconsin, Oregon, Washington, Florida, New York, and other places in which some electronic voting machines have been ruled unacceptable by voting officials because of security concerns. Board of Elections member Larry Cray said the Clear Ballot system has merits worth considering. "I like the machines," he said. "This is something we should consider. However, there are other options on the market, and the Board of Elections plans on looking at some of those as well. There are other systems out there that we are interested in, and we plan on running tests on some of those too," said BOE Director Carol Lawler. Lawler said the BOE was also interested in looking more carefully at so-called hybrid voting systems and when voters interact with a machine that still generates a paper record and an opportunity to review the ballot to ensure that the votes they are casting are the votes they intend to cast. The machine will either indicate to the voter if they made a mistake or will prevent them from making the mistake altogether. Some national experts are calling for all voting machines that do not create a paper record to be banned from polling places. In addition, state officials have called for all counties to upgrade their voting systems before the 2020 election and have allocated approximately $115 million to help counties do that. Medina County's share of that fund is expected to be about $1.4 million. Lawler said Medina County has been considering replacing its 700 touchscreen voting systems anyway. Although they have proved reliable in the past, they are about 14 years old and getting replacement parts to maintain them is becoming a problem. Lawler said she has not yet received a cost estimate to replace the county voting machines with the Clear Ballot system or from any other voting machine manufacturer. Cost will certainly be a consideration, but that won't be the only thing we look at, Lawler said. "We want a system that will meet all of our needs and also be something that voters like." Miller said the BOE hopes to select a new voting system early in 2019 and have it in place for the November election later that year. Strong economic indicators and budget management has prompted Standard & Poor's Global Ratings to raise the bond rating for Medina County government from AA to AA+. A summary from S&P sent to county officials September 4th stated The upgrade, quote unquote, reflects continued economic development and expansion, which has lifted income indicators and market value per capita. This has led us to revise our economy assessment to strong from adequate. S&P also upgraded its ratings on bonds issued by the Medina County Port Authority from A+ to AA-. The highest grade in the S&P rating system is AAA. That is followed by bonds rated at AA, single A, triple B, double B, and single B, with plus or minus signs added to provide additional variation in each grade level. The ratings are intended to assign risk of default for bonds issued to finance various projects. The greater the risk, the higher the interest rate government entities pay to have bonds issued. County Administrator Scott Miller said the upgraded bond rating is good news for the county government. This will allow us more easily to sell debt we issue and to sell it at a lower interest rate, he said. This is a good thing for the county that we are very happy about. Bethany Dentler, director of the Medina County Economic Development Corporation, also considers the upgraded bond rating an important development. It's a huge benefit to the county and indicates the stability of the economy and the great growth potential here, Dentler said. This is only going to help the county grow in the future. The fiscal assessment for county government is further enhanced by 5% population growth in Medina County over the past 10 years, and S&P projects even faster growth in the next 10 years. S&P calculates the assessed value of property in Medina County at $5 billion and the market value at $14.5 billion, which is a 1.7% increase over 2017. Bond rating agencies such as S&P and Moody's are important both for bond issuers and buyers as they assign ratings that are used to judge the risk of default. The greater the risk, the higher the interest rate municipalities will pay. You know, we've been hampered by 2 tropical storms in the month of September. We had Tropical Storm Gordon, and then we had Tropical Storm Florence, the remnants of Hurricane Florence. They dumped a lot of rain on us. Any heavy rain in the forecast? I'll tell you about it in just a second. Hey, welcome back. Glad you joined me this afternoon today here on Brunswick Area TV. Beautiful scenery there. We're going to see more and more of these puffy cumulus clouds out there as autumn has arrived. Let's take a look at our next shot here. This is the construction progress at the property next door to the Visintainer Middle School here in Brunswick. This is also adjacent to Brunswick Area TV studios. So if you see things going on down there, you'll understand why. And hey, October is just around the corner, right? So what are we expecting climatologically as far as October here in Brunswick is concerned? Your average highs begin at 68 degrees, but boy, they drop off 13 degrees throughout the month down to 55 degrees. And your average lows begin at 48, dropping to those dreaded 30s to an average low of 37 degrees on Halloween day. And precipitation, 2.48 inches, and that's rain and frozen precipitation combined, okay? The record high for the month of October here in Brunswick, 92 degrees on the 5th of the month back in 1946. And the record low, 16 degrees on Halloween. That's not a very nice trick-or-treat gift, right? On the 31st in 1988, recent memory, just 30 years ago. Let's take a look at our short-term weather headlines. Average highs and lows for the period September 28th to October 4th. Our average high is 69 degrees, dropping off to 66 degrees. And our average low will be 48 degrees, dropping off to 45 degrees. And the average amount of precipitation down into the doldrums just a little bit at 0.67 inches. But they start to rise again because of those autumnal storms moving in more frequently. Let's take a look at what the Weather Service is possibly expecting for the the next short-term period. And our temperatures, boy, talk about a bullseye area up here in the upper Midwest, a 55 to 60% chance of below normal temperatures. And the southeastern U.S., Florida, go to vacation down here in Florida, not compensated by the Florida Tourism Board, by the way. Average to above average temperatures are expected, and as far as precipitation is concerned across the United States, well, a moisture tongue from the Gulf all the way up into the Mississippi Valley and into the middle Great Lakes is expected to set up. And we've had plenty of moisture during the month of September as a result of A, Tropical Storm Gordon, and B, Tropical Storm Florence. What's October hold? I guess only you and I will tell soon. Coming up next, we've got your bulletin board events, so stick around. It's Harvest Pumpkin Festival time. Join the Brunswick Historical Society from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, October 6 and 7 for this year's Pumpkin Festival at the Historical Farm. Plans include, of course, lots of pumpkins at family-friendly prices, as always, with free admission, free parking, free hay rides, free kids rock and tiny pumpkin painting, free tours of the museum, free entertainment, and a wide variety of vendors. It's sure to be a great way to spend the weekend. There will even be a free toothbrush and other dental care products from Dental Works of Brunswick, raffles, baskets, and fun. Handicapped parking is in the east lot. Everyone else can park in the west field and across the street thanks to our good neighbors. Ken Urim has lined up entertainment. There's plenty of food, vendors with food to eat on site at a picnic table or to take home. For a full schedule of music and events, check out their website. Autumn is officially here, and with it, the changing colors of nature and the opportunity to climb aboard the Cuyahoga Valley's Fall Flyer. Saturdays and Sundays throughout the month of October, you can experience the vibrant colors of autumn as you make your way through Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Settle in for this 2-hour nonstop round trip. New special seating options are available, and ticket prices range from $25 to $30 per person. Groups and private car rentals are also available. The train departs from Rockside Station at 9:45 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. on Saturday and departs from Akron Northside Station at 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. on Sunday. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit their website, which is listed below. On a clear night under a dark sky, you can see about 2,000 stars with the unaided eye. You can look trillions of miles into space and see thousands of years into the past. If this sounds like something you would like to learn more about, attend a meeting of the Brunswick Astronomy Club. They meet the second Thursday of each month from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at the Brunswick Rec Center on Center Road. They are also hosting a public star party at the Brunswick Lake on the 12th of October from 7 until 9 p.m. Would you like more information on that? Contact them through their website, which is listed below. Thanks for joining me this week. I appreciate it. And until the next time, for Brunswick Cable Access News, I'm Don Keating.
The preceding program was made possible through the use of equipment and facilities of Brunswick Area Television.